Hey, thanks so much for joining the live if you're watching live, and if you're watching it on the replay, thanks for watching on the replay. As always, when I go live, feel free to comment in the chat and I'll do my best to look at it, or you can always leave a comment afterwards down below and I will do my best to reply. So, obviously, it's not the last day of May. We're 2 days into June. I apologize for the delay, and I also apologize if I yawn. It's only like 9:15 for me, but I'm tired. I feel like I've been sleeping okay, like all things considered, but I'm just really tired. So a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. So I should have turned on my light. Well, now it's too late. I don't feel like getting up. But if I had been smart, I would have turned on my little neon YouTube light. But alas, you win some, you lose some. Also, I don't know if I love this setup, but I have a giant new monitor here, and so my light is like there, hence why there's like a shadow here. So we're getting some interesting lighting. But you know what? It is what it is because we've already started. Yeah. So, anyways, May is done. I don't even understand how it's possible that I've now like been back on the East Coast for 2 months because, well, actually, I do understand how it's possible in the sense that I've done like a lot of stuff. So, in that sense, I get it. But time just is really crazy. And I know I say it every month and all the time, but I just feel like I blink and it's like weeks have gone by. But sometimes, like during the day, it can be kind of slow. And it's just time's relative and I don't understand it. And I don't know if I ever will. And I just have to accept that in my heart. But, anyways, today we're here to talk about all things me, obviously, in my month. So, actually, where's my. Hmm. I don't know where my little goal book is. I think I left that downstairs, but it's okay because I actually remember most of my goals progress wise. So, as far as my book reading goes, for example, I'm not sure how many books I've read by the end of last month, but I've now read 8 new books so far this year, which is really quite impressive for me because I really sucked at it, the reading thing last year. So I'm very proud of myself for reading more new books particularly. And I only need to read 2 more books then 2 more new books, and then I'll have hit my year goal of 10 new books. So I'm feeling very confident about finishing that goal, which is nice because I have a different goal for practicing my violin, which I made zero progress on last month because I didn't play it at all. But for June, I played it today. So we're already doing better on the violin thing than last month. And, it's nice to have a balance of some goals that I'm doing well on because if they were all like tanking, I would feel very demoralized, I think. I am still drinking water. I'm definitely still not drinking enough water for like my goal of like 64 ounces a day or something crazy. But I have my little water cup here. Like, I'm trying my best to drink water. I just don't love water, but I know we have like Propel and lemonade and other stuff for fluid intake, because I know that's good for like my overall health. I know it's good for like my migraines. It's just I have to remember to drink water. And I know my dad also needs to remember to drink water. So maybe I inherited my lack of liking water from him. I'm not sure. I really don't know. Other goals that I'm doing well on would be my there's gotta be another goal. Well, I have 10 goals. Oh, yeah, my relationship with God goal. That one is going well. I am over a third slash approaching halfway through my Bible in Year progress that I wanna make through the whole year. Obviously, it's June, so if I'm not halfway through by June, you might be thinking, "Oh, Lauren, you're behind." But actually, in the first month of the year, I did a different thing where I did, like, this, like, 33 days to Eucharistic glory to kind of do that was, like, less reading to get me in the habit of doing reading every day for the Bible in a year. So I'm actually doing very well time-wise, and I'm feeling very confident with that goal as well. And of course, that's like the kind of tangible goal, but the deeper vision is to have a better relationship with God, which I think is good. Though right now, as I've been complaining about to my mom, um, the book of Numbers is so boring to read, and that's a struggle. And I think I complained about this last month, but like I'm literally still in the book of Numbers, but I'm almost done. We're super close to being done, thank God. Sorry, I probably should not have used that phrase in this part of the top. Well, whatever. Sorry. Sorry. But anyways, moving on. Um, I have been to multiple like social outings because as one of my goals is to go to at least 2, 3 plus like events. And I went to multiple YouTube events. I went to this like tequila tasting event. I hung out with my friends in Philadelphia. There was lots of like interactive activities with multiple people that I was doing. So, yeah, overall, I did feel, like, really good about my goal, like, my goals overall. Um, I can't remember all of them now off the top of my head, but overall, I feel like I'm doing well with the goals, although, like, the violin goal, for example, that was a bust, and the water drinking is not going fabulously, but it's progress, and next month this month now, because it's June, now we're in June, hopefully will be even better, but I just feel like this month was so maybe that's why I'm tired. I was just really busy because I, of course, had the 2 events that I talked about, and if you've watched any of my shorts or whatever, you may have seen, I was at the zoo, I was in Philadelphia, like, going all over the place in the city. New York City, obviously, Philadelphia is also a city, so it's just been, like, a lot of stuff, and I'm working still, um, so just trying to keep on top of everything can be a little bit exhausting, but now to the fun part where I talk about my exciting monthly activities in more detail. And if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about, feel free to put them in the chat. And as long as you're not creepy or weird, that was supposed to say weird and rude, and it came out as a word. Um, I'll answer. So I I took this picture on May 1st because I got to go into New York City to see the New York office for MSG because I've been in Burbank. And I took this picture, and I think this was the raw picture. Anyways, and then I did some editing. I don't know if you guys know the photographer Ethan Barber, but I felt like this photo was like low key his vibe when I did some edits. And that was the view from the office. I was like, wow, this is nice. I mean, the view from the Burbank office was like the Burbank airport. So this is a way better view, just saying. And then the next day, I went to Jersey City to the New Jersey Creator Collective event. I was really excited because I've been to a variety of creator events on the West Coast, but obviously now I'm on the East Coast. And it'd be nice to have like some more creator friends, or just people who, even if we're not going to be like besties, we can like interact maybe at different events or maybe try to collaborate or something. And everyone was really nice. I mean, I went alone because I just moved back here. I don't know any other creators here, or now I do, but I didn't at the time. And I'm not usually too worried about going to like creator events alone because like worst comes to worst, I just have like small talk with a bunch of people and then like get my little content and get like my free food or my swag or whatever it is that I came to do. Like a while ago, I went to like some gaming event and I didn't really become like close with anybody. I had a bunch of small talk and I played some games and it was great. Um, okay, I work in Jersey City. How did I not know of a creators event? Well, this was like a YouTube creator event. So if you're in the YouTube events, then you get the email blast. But some of them like filled out really fast. Like the Jersey City event was, I think, I'm not sure if it completely reached capacity, but like the New York City one, I knew was going to reach capacity, but I like signed up for that so fast. Before it was even like on the big text. It was like more event, like more states click here. And I clicked there because I was like, where's New Jersey? Where's New York? Um, so it was a strategy. I was being a little, I'm not going to say psychotic, but I was definitely on top of my game there. And I think my favorite part about the event, other than like meeting people, which was obviously the best part, they had like this bouquet thing where you could like make your own bouquet. And at first I was like, oh wow, flowers, that's nice. And then they were like, yeah, because it's the Garden State. And I felt really dumb that I hadn't made that connection of like flowers, Garden State myself. But no one else apparently had made that connection. So I felt a little bit better. And the food was also really good, which I appreciate. However, I did then have my expectations really high for the New York City event as far as food goes, and they only had like appetizers there, which for food was also good. I just thought there was going to be appetizers and like big food just because of the last event, which was totally my bad. Because the Jersey City event was at this like cute little like restaurant with like a rooftop area as well. But then like the New York City event, for example, was like overlooking Times Square, which was a crazy cool location. I've never been that high up in Times Square and like looking down all the people. Even though it was kind of rainy that day, I didn't care. Like I was still hyped for it. We're like skipping time a little bit, but like there's me and my little mocktail. I did I do drink, sometimes, but when I came in the door, they had, like, this scary sounding beverage, and then they had, like, a fruity mocktail, and I was like, "I'm taking the fruity mocktail," like, that's me, I love me a little fruity drink, alcoholic or not, I don't care. So, that was, like we were really high up, and I tried to get, like, a cute picture with the creator fan because some people have really cute pictures. Mine was okay, turned out okay, but, you can't win them all right? But anyways, that was, like, the New York event, so lots of different events. And some people were at the New Jersey event and the New York event. So that was nice to kind of like say hey again and then meet some new people. It just felt like, I don't know, I felt very motivated and excited to be still able to like be in the kind of creator community, even though now I've like relocated states, because not that I was really worried about it, but I do really like those events. And especially me as like a small creator, it's really nice to still be like invited to some events like that and get to do things and feel like a part of something bigger, even though I'm like a smaller creator. So yeah, it was just really nice. And yeah, I felt very social. I was going to my like social events, right? And I was like, ooh, look at me going to these like mixer events. Who is she, right? And then I also did family stuff, of course. Family is super big for me. That's one of the reasons I like, in New Jersey. And me and my twin and my mom and the puppy, we went to Liberty State Park, and there we are. Statue of Liberty's behind us. She's also like facing away, but you get the gist. And Cal is so cute. He doesn't really like air jail, I don't think, but he doesn't like bark either. He just kind of like freezes in the air. And I didn't want, in order to get like the statue good and get him in the picture, he really had to be higher up. So Nicole came in clutch, scooped him up there, and he tolerated it nicely. I also was just excited to go because I hadn't been to Liberty State Park in a while, and there were still a lot of cherry trees in bloom, and it was literally just like so pretty. And Nicole and I each thought of this like when we were there. Oh, there's Cal. But I don't know if you guys know that scene from Narnia, like the first one where like the dryad or whatever is formed like out of the cherry blossoms. That's exactly what we were thinking about, like watching the cherry blossoms. They were like snow of cherry blossoms. It was so cool. And maybe like if I went to a YouTube event, I would hope to with creators who would do topics I'm interested in history, politics, and public policy. Though you do not want to associate yourself with the political commentary sphere of YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of like political commentary, I would say, YouTubers, and I feel like I every now and then we'll talk about something like political, but I personally have to feel like as informed about it as possible, because I otherwise I think I'm like asking for a lot of arguments and like people me basically maybe prove wrong just because I don't know everything. And I try to keep myself like educated and like abreast of what's going on politically in the world at large. And I do try to be, clear when, about my stance on like pro Palestine, pro choice, like pro LGBTQ, that stuff. But I don't go too far into it otherwise. But I mean, there probably were creators who were doing that, like who were at those events. I think most people I talked to were into um like more social commentary or like lifestyle, like photography, I would say, or education versus political commentary. But I think that's cool. I mean, I don't think I think it gets a bad rap because there are some people who I think are like say they're political commentators, but they're really just like rage baiters and trolls, and that's not helpful. Like I mean maybe this is rude to say, but I feel like sometimes like Jubilee says they're like making like political statements and like addressing social issues, but really they're just like trying to get a lot of like views and clicks, and I don't have as much respect for that. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's nice to meet creators who do stuff you do and also who are interested in other things, because regardless of whether or not you have the same like topic, if we're all like creators, we all have that passion of wanting to like share our thoughts, opinions of some capacity online and connect with other people. And that's the thing that's like the glue that ties all the creators together. And like if everyone who showed up at the creator event was like a mental health, lifestyle, film person, like yeah, we'd have a lot in common, but like I feel like I wouldn't be like as my brain wouldn't be like learning as much from other people and why they choose to do their topics, what they're passionate about. Like one of the people that I met at the Philadelphia creator event does like she does like just like streaming just of The Sims. And like I would not have met her if I was going to just like my kind of topic. But I found from talking to her, I found out we actually went to the same college and we both lived in LA for a bit, like not at the same time. And that was just like a really fun little connection that had nothing sort of to do with exactly like creating content, but we were able to like meet each other because we were like two different types of creators at the same event. And I thought that was really fun. And like I met someone at the New Jersey event who her whole thing is like crochet, and she does like these incredible pieces. And I was very impressed. I'm not a crocheter. My twin is getting into crochet and stuff, and she's very talented actually. She's making like a whole blanket. But it was just really fun and cool, and I like meeting people with other interests, and as long as someone's, like, passionate about what they're doing, it's exciting, like, I want to hear what they're talking about because they obviously care what they're talking about, and I'd like to think when I'm talking about something I care about, people care. They may not, maybe they don't, whatever, but, like, I pretend like they care. Honestly, even if I don't think they care, I'll probably keep talking anyways because 'cause I'm a yapper. Yapper and proud, okay? Yapper and proud. Um, but anyways, another highlight of the early part of May was that I had buffalo chicken pizza from the best pizza place ever. It was delicious, and, I've had more of it since, but that was the first time I'd had it in a long time, and it was a godsend. And then, it's just, like, back to the grind of work. I feel like I guess I didn't do much otherwise, and then it's just, like, then the New York event, which I already talked about. Um, yep, oh, yeah, and then my friend is this is sort of funny because I saw a bunch of Broadway shows in April, and I told my friend and my sister, like, "You guys gotta stop winning the lottery, like, Lauren, I can't keep going to City See shows, like, we gotta take a pause." And then my friend won the lottery for Dead Outlaw, and she was like, "Are you still on your no Broadway show?" And I was like, "It's a new month. It's a new month, I'm ready, okay?" And we had tickets or the tickets were for seats, like, literally right in the front row, which was really cool. And I didn't know too much about Dead Outlaw except that it had a lot of, like, Tony nominations. It was so good, okay? First of all, it's another show that doesn't have an intermission, and it feels like there's a lot of shows right now that, like, don't have intermissions. Maybe that's just because I've seen 2 shows that don't have intermissions, but I don't know. I felt like it was weird, but it was felt like I didn't notice, like, time taking a long time or not. Like, I was fully invested in the story. It was one of those shows where, like, the band is on the stage, and something I really liked was that, like, some of the band also sort of was, like, part of the show. Like, they kind of were their own characters versus just sort of, like, being visible on the stage. I thought that was really cool, and the music's super catchy. I highly recommend if you're into sort of, like, country stuff and outlaws, he does die, but, like, he's gonna die, and most of the show, it's about his, like, dead body, where it goes, so it's not, like, a spoiler that he dies because the show's called Dead Outlaw, right? Just discovered this wonderful feed on my device. Well, I hope it's good. I did sometimes the Wi-Fi is a little wonky because there's, like, 2 Wi-Fis, and sometimes I accidentally connect to the wrong Wi-Fi, and if I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi, then it's not as good, so depending on, like, where you are in the house. So hopefully I'm okay. If I'm, like, cutting out and stuff, let me know in the chat, and I'll try to switch it or be sad or something, but we do our best. But anyways, Dead Outlaw, very good. And then I went to Philadelphia. I went to college in Philadelphia, and, one of my best friends, my old roommate, still lives down there, so I got to stay with her for a few days. We both work remotely, so that was really nice because we got to kind of work sort of separately but together, and if one of us had meetings, we would kinda go somewhere else so we weren't, like, bothering the other person, and I got to hang out with obviously with her and her cats, which was very fun, and they're adorable, and I also got to see some of my, like, old other college friends and meet some new people, and it was just, like, so nice, and I love Philadelphia. I mean, I do think no offense to Philadelphia, I think New York City is my favorite city, but Philly is so nice. It's so walkable. The public transportation honestly is really good, and, like, I went to an event alone, and I was going back, and I was, like, walking in the dark, it was kind of slightly raining and walking through a park, and I felt, like, literally no fear being, like, walking alone in the night. Like, I really was not concerned. I felt, like, very safe even though, like, I hadn't been back in, like, for a long time, but it just felt I don't know, I just, like, felt like, "This is cool, I'm cool," and that was just very nice. Also, fun fact, if you go to the Dandelion, you definitely should get the sweet treats platter because this is $20, and you get, like, all these little bites, and if you share with a friend, it's a great deal, and then even better deal if one of you really likes one dessert that the other person doesn't, because then you can have both of those, or, like, they can have both of one that you don't like. It's a win-win for everybody, okay? I also went shopping, and I got a denim maxi skirt, which I'm not sure if it's appeared in a short yet or not, but it will if it hasn't, and it was great. However, then when we went to a couple more stores, I just was browsing because I'd already made my big purchase. I can only make so many big purchases at a time. That's why I stick with my budget, and I'm a budgeting queen thanks to my parents. Also, we made a ship out of mini blocks, which is like Lego, but not as good in my opinion. Like, it was very cute when it was done, I will admit, but, like, 2 of the pieces were broken a bit, like, when we got them, and I've never had, like, broken Lego pieces. It is like at a lower price point. So if you don't mind a little bit more slightly weirder instructions and things being a little less clear, it can still be awesome. The end result is really nice, and it wasn't horrible to put together, but it was giving me anxiety, and I don't get anxiety putting Legos together, and maybe that's just my just rightness OCD and all that good stuff, but I I have thoughts, okay? But it's definitely good for some people and maybe not as good for other people, just like, maybe how Legos aren't so good for other people too. So anyways, that's my unsolicited opinion. And then I was back to New Jersey and just like hanging with the family, hanging with the dog. He's so cute. Literally, since I've been back, my camera roll is full of this dog. He doesn't even understand how cute he is. And he never will. He never will. Which maybe it's a good thing because if he knew how cute he was, I think he would try to get away with a lot more evil things because he knows we'd have to forgive him because he's so cute. And then we went to the New York Botanical Garden. I have made a couple shorts about that because it was so cool. I'd never been to the New York Botanical Garden. I'd heard of it a lot. And like we would go to the Bronx Zoo, we'd be like, oh, yeah, there's the Botanical Garden. But I had never been. So I was very, very excited to go. And it's the kind of place where because it's a garden, they have stuff in season all like different year round, like all year round. So if you want to see, say, like I don't know, the azaleas, you got to go at one point, but then like the roses were just starting to bloom. But if we went in a couple weeks, they'd be like bigger. But then like the begonias, I'm not sure if that's what we saw like a bunch of one really big flower. Like they're not like in bloom anymore. So it's just really cool how like no matter when you go, there'll be something new to see. And they have this very nice new fun looking exhibit sort of section theme about Van Gogh, which we arrived a little too early for the Van Gogh, but I wasn't really bothered about that because one, we can always go back. That Van Gogh thing I think is through the fall. And we ended up magically getting there, and there was like a Lego pop-up. I didn't know about the Lego pop-up, so I was thrilled, okay, about the Lego pop-up. Turns out Nicole did know about the Lego pop-up, but she didn't tell me in case like it wasn't there or they ran out of supplies. She didn't want me like looking forward to the pop-up and then like not being there being disappointed. So shout out to Nicole for like looking out for my emotional health. But it was thrilling. I got a Lego tote bag. We made a little made a little like Lego heart thing, plants. And then, of course, just got to look at lots of flowers and trees. It's just really nice to be in the outdoors. And even though obviously that's in New York, so we're no longer in the Garden State, it's just this like springtime going into summer vibes. And it's just like the kind of season that I really missed when I was on the West Coast because you just don't have this like middle time of year for very long on the West Coast. Like it's like, oh, it's winter and then it's like 120 degrees, right? Like there's no in between. So it's just I would consider it like just lovely, divine. And went in this like cool like alpine garden area, which had like these rocks. It was giving Heidi, if anyone knows Heidi. And of course, like my mom knows all the plants. So that was very helpful for me if I was confused about a plant. At one point, I ambitiously tried to guess a plant was milkweed. It wasn't. Okay, I was wrong. But it's okay because I don't pretend to be a botanist. I just enjoy looking at flowers and being like, oh, pretty. And I'm content with that fact. I was invited to be the plus one to someone, the tarot girl. That's not her actual name. Tarot. Her name is Sasha. She does tarot, but she's like the tarot girly that I tagged in my little Paloma short that I made. And she invited me to her plus one. I met her at a YouTube event, so it was very fun. But then we like went to another event together. I'd never been to like a wine tasting or like alcohol tasting specific event, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. And I thought it was fun. I mean, the only complaint I have really was that if I known it was gonna be like so loud, like but there was also like a DJ, I would have brought my earplugs, which I can still hear out of, but just like a little muted because I get migraines. I'm a little sensitive sometimes to really like bright lights or noise over a long period of time if I'm not like prepared for it. So in hindsight, I would just wish I brought my earplugs really. I did enjoy like trying a bunch of the different cocktail mixes and I didn't really finish any of them, but that was okay because I wasn't going to down like 4 drinks in one night because with my psychiatric medications, that is not advised. Okay. Do not do that. I'm not a doctor, but don't do that. So I was being careful and cautious because I am a responsible adult sometimes. And I also got to keep it's kind of behind the globe, but I got like this little glass which really reminded me of like a champagne flute. Like, this reminded me of a champagne flute, honestly, but that's what we got, like, our initial tequila in. So, like, you got to keep it. So I have it now as a little memento, which is just kind of fun. And then I did build this, which I made a short about because I was inspired after my trip to the botanical garden and, of course, the Lego pop-up. I decided I wanted to build this Lego orchid that my friend got for me for my birthday, but I hadn't built it yet because she gave it to me and then I knew I was moving soon. I didn't want to like have to take it apart and then bring it with me to New Jersey. So I built it then and it was very satisfying. Much more satisfying than the mini blocks, I may say. Of course, everyone had to deal with the fact that I went to the Bronx Zoo, but what you don't know was the day before the Bronx Zoo, me and my family went, my cousin and her husband, and we did like a hike near like these old ironworks. I will say, when they talked about the first furnace, I was expecting like something that remained. There wasn't really, I didn't even take a picture of it. Like there was not much remaining of this like first furnace. It looked like a heap of nothing really, like a bunch of just like dirt. But they did have like an old wheel that they'd restored to kind of show like what the old like wheel was for the iron furnace and stuff. And that's huge. Okay. Like I feel like I wish I should have taken like a picture to scale, but just try to pretend that you don't understand how big this is. I mean, it was massive. So that one that had kind of been restored, and then they had one that looked less restored, and it was kind of like, a little falling apart, a little rusty, which was a nice kind of like, oh, visualization of like maybe what it looked like in its prime and how time has passed and affected it. But it was just cool. I had never been up there before. And it's funny, like, I've been to all these new places recently, the botanical garden, the like Branch Brook Park, these ironworks. I mean, obviously one of those is in New York, but New Jersey, it's not a huge state, and yet you're always like finding new stuff, which is one of the reasons. Oh yeah, one of my goals was to go to a new place like in my area. That was one of my goals, and it was accomplished. And it was one of my goals because I really want to be like not only like a tourist, but I want to be like a local tourist. I want to like go to the places near me and experience them and check them out and investigate because I feel like sometimes we just get used to like where we live and like our routine and then we might be missing something amazing that we like just didn't know existed. So, yeah. Um oh yeah, no, well thank you can stay as long or as not long as you want or can and it will always be like back, it'll be back up on the channel so you can always watch it whenever. It'll be here. It'll be here for replaying purposes. Um yeah, but thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it a lot. And yes, of course, in the Bronx Zoo. I love the Bronx Zoo. I actually got this new shirt at the Bronx Zoo. It's the new member shirt for World of Darkness, which is opening, I believe, later this summer. And I'm really excited about that. But the family, we are a Bronx Zoo. We have a plan. We always go to the monorail first if the monorail's open. And, we bang that out because it's amazing. And there's also animals you literally can't see unless you do the monorail, but the lines can get kind of long. And then, of course, we had to do like Jungle World, Congo. We did see, like, I thought a decent amount of action. I mean, some animals, of course, were conked out asleep because that's what you're gonna get. But, you know, the tigers were moving, and sometimes we don't see the tigers at all. So you win some, you lose some. And I've definitely bragged about this photo like every platform now, but I got two photos that I'm really, really proud of. One of them is this photo, and we got like a little baby bison and you can even see, like, the mud behind him, which I love, and then we got, like, the big bison, like, in the back, which I just think is very, like, nice, dynamic, epic. And then, of course, the one that I'm, like, really obsessed with myself about, I got this picture of the bear in the water and, just looking right at me, and I don't know, with his, like, little nails, like, who's this diva? Like, I love it, okay? I mean, I have got lots of good pictures, and you can see them all on my Instagram if you want, but I I love not only, like, just going to the zoo, but I really love, like, taking animal photos and, like, waiting. There's something so satisfying about, like, watching an animal do its thing, and then you're like, "Ooh," and you wait and you get, like, the perfect moment, and I don't know. I just really love animals also. I mean, like, whether it's, like, a type of, like, gazelle that's just kinda laying in the sand or, like, the dholes that are, like, prancing around. I just makes me happy to see the animals and to know that the Wildlife Conservation Society, I think, is really good. They've helped reintroduce animals that were extinct into the wild back into the wild. They have really good like breeding programs and education and conservation efforts. And I really love like going to the zoo, feeling like I'm supporting them and their mission. And yeah, it's like it's a win-win because I love the animals, but then I also feel good of myself for supporting the animals. And yeah, I mean, maybe you shouldn't feel like so good about yourself, but they make it a point to do that. Like they'll be like, thanks to your visit here, we get to like save gorillas. And it's like, yeah, I'm helping save gorillas. Um, Even though who knows, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something. And that's nice. I mean, I do also like donate money and stuff to animals, but it feels like very direct when you're like at the zoo seeing the animals, thriving. And that was like a very exciting moment, the zoo. The kind of way I guess I closed out the month because then the rest of like that week after the zoo was just like working the usual. There was obviously the insane news that when Taylor bought her master's, which didn't affect me directly, but I was very excited for her. And I just have to say, I just had to put in this video. I just have to memorialize, like, again, how exciting that is for her. And I love Queen Taylor. Okay. I have, I have my bust of her head. She's gorgeous. Okay. We love Taylor Swift in this household. And then the last kind of thing I did in May was I went with my friend to see one of her friends, like graduation, like musical Broadway shows at this piano bar in New York City, which was cool. I've never been to like a piano bar like that in New York City. So it was quite exciting. Actually, I don't really think I've been to a piano bar in general, but it was cool. I felt it was sort of like not like in La La Land where they're playing the piano, but kind of like La La Land. It was like a special back room. So she like there was like a general area, but then she had like her own room space and did like her little like one woman show sort of thing. It was very exciting. I thought she was really good. And yeah, I mean, I had a really nice month. I went to the city a bunch. I went, walking, walked the dog in the woods, trying to get like my movement in. And I just again like feel very grateful to be back on the East Coast with my family. And I know that a lot of people don't have that ability to do. So I am like, definitely cognizant of like the kind of good luck that I have in that sense. And yeah, it's been a good month. I hope that June is also good. Happy Pride Month. Woo, we are in Pride Month. And I know that not everyone is happy about Pride Month, but sucks to be you, honestly, if you're not happy about Pride Month. That's a you problem, okay? Because I will be celebrating Pride. Thank you very much. Pride year round. And with that being said, I'm going to close out because I'm definitely tired and I feel like I don't have anything else enlightening to say. And I'm just going to start rambling, which we don't really need memorialized on the internet forever. So thanks again so much for watching, for commenting in the chat, and just thank you for supporting me and my videos and everything. And I'll see you next time. So have a great